morning. Good morning, and good in morning. So excited on this Tuesday, July 19th, to be sharing space with you all. I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 89th District. Here we go, y'all. I missed a whole Tuesday, a whole Thursday. Last Thursday, I actually ended up having to go to deep in Williamsburg for an event for veterans, talking about how we do veterans employment and really actually asking some questions about employment, period. As I told you guys before, much of the work that we get in our office, or much of a lot of the places where we find folks need the greatest help is with their employment claims, right? Like with their unemployment claims, and that's a big one for us. Good morning. All right, so let's get through. Let's start at the top of things today. Some things that I really wanted to be important and let you guys know that's happening. As I'm starting, gratitude. I'll always say thank you. I appreciate you all. I need you to go ahead and get to the website, Delegate Jackie Glass, and subscribe to our newsletter. Right, that goes out once a month. It's giving you a snapshot of all the things that we've done. I make sure I write a note every single month to give you guys perspective. It's all the things. So, subscribe to our newsletter. There may be some information in there that you can share with someone else, and that's all we're trying to do, is resource you to be a resource. All right. Second, summer school for certified doers. Y'all, this week is a week 2 of certified doers, summer school for certified doers, meaning you guys wanted to be in policy work groups. We are working our way to the policy side of policy work groups, y'all. Okay? Policy. That's what this is all about. So I need you to go to the website, sign up, come on to school, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the website in there, because all of this stuff is there, right, for you to join our summer school. We want you there. Last week, or the week before last, we had so many folks being a part. It was really amazing, talking about the life cycle of bill. Now we're transitioning. We're gonna start building them bills. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Knowing that I have a short session this next year. So our session, remember I said there's short ones and there's long ones. Next year is going to be a 45-day session, and I'll only be allowed to put in 15 bills total. So it's going to be a real sort of picking and choosing of what we decide to do. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second, Miss Charlene. What are we doing at Norfolk General Hospital? What is the certified doer doing at Norfolk General Hospital? If you mind sharing. If it's not great, we are sending our love. If it's great, you keep on getting checked up and taking care of yourself, Miss Charlene. But you're joining us from the hospital. Good morning. Good morning. Let me send some love and some flowers your way. But Miss Charlene was there, right, at summer school. I think he came to summer school. And just so you know, there is a super secret Facebook group for summer school's students. So I guess it's not a secret, it's an open secret right now. So if you went to summer school and you haven't already signed in to be on gotten your invitation to our super secret Facebook group, please let us know. I saw that as a comment earlier. I want to post, let us know. Let's go ahead and get you get you added. Yeah, shh, don't tell nobody, or come to summer school and join us, right? Next, we have a fundraiser coming up. All right, so I'm just rolling through the things because I have some really deep things. Oh my goodness, we have a candidate on our live today. Good morning, Chioma, doing the good work in Petersburg, running for city council. I'm gonna actually talk about that what's coming up, local elections, and our state level elections. Y'all hear those birds letting us know it's time. It's time to rise and shine. The sun is on our skin. Let's get it. I already got a vitamin D deficiency, right? All right, so here's the deal. Got a fundraiser next week on the 27th. The fundraiser is not a big one, right? It's pretty much a small one. I'm trying to raise a large amount of money in a short amount of time. We've got some things that we need to do. Several things. We've got some hires that we want to make. We have some community activities that we want to do, and that's pretty much how we do them. We have to fundraise in order to do all the things that we'd like to do within the community and within the office, and also to prepare, because we will be next year. This is a quick turn. We're always running here in the House of Delegates, and just so folks know, like, look, I am not going anywhere. I'm going to move. I will be right here. And next year, when our district changes to the 93rd, many of you, I may now be in your district, and many of you, I may now be out of your district. But remember, the delegates, we work on a state level. We're hopeful that we get many Norfolk delegates, which will be 3 whole ones, and then I think 1 partial one. We'll get that want to work for Norfolk, right? Everybody will have a large chunk and not these tiny pieces. So, like, it is about building a team that is going to be able to do the best work and best advocacy on the state level for our city as a whole. So I'm really excited about working our butts off, but I do need you all I do need contributions like that. It's the worst part of this job, to be quite honest. I was talking to a senior level person, staff, that I thought had it going on, and just like it was just an easy day for them, and they were telling me, hey, like, no, they don't like to do this either. So, like, do not feel like you're on a boat alone having to fundraise. And I'm putting the link to fundraise. Here's what I think, right? We are celebrating our session and funding our future. It's the thing, and every little bit counts. I really want to start being able to text people too. I can send with $2, I can send like 66 text messages. Let's just keep it all the way real. So, like, this is about not only expanding our capacity to do the work, but bringing the staff to do the services that we need for you all. So every little bit counts. I'm hoping that you're able to chip in, and I want to make this more professional stuff too. I'm moving right. So donate, register to vote if you have not. If you need restoration of rights, please reach out to our office. Let us know. We will get you to the folks that help you with restoring your rights. If you have the bandwidth, I want you to consider becoming a poll worker, right? We have a shortage. Most of our elders that used to do this are, they're done. They're staying at home. COVID sort of did a thing. They're staying at home, or they have gone on. They have transitioned. So we need more people to be precinct captains, to be able to go in and take the ballots for however long that you can. It's needed. So start thinking about that now, because there's a training that you have to go to, and it's a whole day thing. So you have to put in your POT, your time off. Whew. That's when people be driving too fast. August and next week we will be having a town hall. So town hall next Thursday, 5:30. Am I saying that right? Don't beat me up. I was going to say 7 o'clock, but then I realized I might be wrong. Don't give me the line. Town hall next week at Freemason Church. I need you guys to share widely. As a matter of fact, thank you. I just looked on the website. I do not see it there. So we need to get that updated. We need to get that on the website, that we have a town hall next week in person. Good morning, Scott. All right. And then we're going to start our Civic League tours in September. We'll start getting our butts out to Civic Leagues, hopefully being able to maybe combine some Civic Leagues by doing a town hall, really like figuring out how we can pull those things together. Pull it all. Let's just pull it all together. All right. So y'all know we're kind of as smart as the news that we receive, right? I think before, actually, the certified doers who went to summer school, I told them about two of my bills were based off of things that were actually in the media. So one was the housing authority in Norfolk, which we see is back in the news as well. I put a bill in to really consider how we actually fund our housing authorities, right? That's an important thing, that if we're not funding them to success, then what are we doing? So housing authority came from an article. Falsifying documents came from a Virginian pilot article based off of something that was happening in Virginia Beach, which actually was happening more than just Virginia Beach, but that was the precipice for it. So it's important that you guys have access to news sources that are investigative, that are celebrative, that are doing all the different things. So I just wanted to share with you a couple different news sources that I'm now using that help me. So one of them is Dogwood. I have them on Instagram. I meant to check to see if they have a website, but Dogwood VA is a great source. I get a lot of good information from the Norfolk from Dogwood. Okay. The second one, which I think has been really phenomenal, and it is an actual up and coming, doing really good work in our area, is called Norfolk Currents. Okay, I'm putting it in the chat right here. Norfolk Currents. Not only is it a great news source, right? I see you guys. Yep, Insta for news. Dogwood. Dogwood is the one I use on Insta. Norfolk Currents is the one I use, and the app that they have is really good. So they got a week, like they tell you about all the things that are happening. Like, I'm looking at it now. It's like, oh, this week in Norfolk they had rap battles, the railroad, trucker unions, acquisition, Norfolk Dog Sign. Like, it gives you a comprehensive view of what's happening in Norfolk. So like, this is a great site. They've even started sort of trying to break things down by community as well. Just good news that you can use. Lastly, outside of Currents, I would say the Virginia Mercury, right? The Virginia Mercury has broken some amazing stories, right? If you don't know, I'm trying to get their website. The Virginia Mercury, we want good, honest, true, objective, great reporting. So just giving you guys some options that are outside of the norm. I'm going to put the Virginia Mercury's website here, right here. Yeah, thank you, Vince, for going ahead and putting them in there. Yeah, and shout out to Jim Morrison as a reporter. And that's a thing, is when you're able to start seeing the value of what reporters are doing. You've got Jim Morrison over at the Mercury, and I've noticed there's another young new reporter that we have here at the Virginia Pilot. Daniel Birdie, I think it is, has done some really top-notch, just like stories that are connecting us to the happenings. There's a time and place for the fluff, but sometimes when you got to give people the real, you got to give them the real. I'm just for me, building relationships with our media, it's important, right, to know what's going on, because oftentimes, like, they're asking you for quotes and asking. It's a symbiotic relationship, understanding what's going on in the media. And I just want to make sure that you guys are getting news that is relative, and recent, right? Like all the things. So between those three, those are just some sources that I use that are outside of the norm, to get information to share with you all. I think it's really important we keep our assets in that way diversified. So speaking of news stories, right? Recently, like, hold on, I'm going through. Yeah, I love this. So I'm looking at what was sent to me here, and I super appreciate it. So another case that broke was that the Innocence Project. I'll tell you, a lot of my mail comes from, I get a bulk of my mail from a lot of folks that are incarcerated, but there's a man who was wrongfully convicted in Norfolk that's now going to be exonerated by the Innocence Project. And that project is out of the University of Virginia. Like, it is I told you, it is important that we don't throw our citizens away, right? We don't assume that everybody that is behind bars is a problem, going to be a problem, or actually committed the crime. Like, we have a system that is not necessarily working for everyone. So I'm going to say that and couple that with Chioma put in the chat, is that it is super important that we understand, especially those who have been participatory in these systems that are not necessarily doing a service, and not, valuing humans as humans, that we train folks on how to restore rights, on registration. And I love that you're saying including homeless and voter restoration. Like I didn't even think of that. We'd love to maybe one day have you join us inside of the live to talk about what that means, how you're getting the homeless population able to register to vote. That's a beautiful thing, Chioma. Something that we just don't necessarily, I don't think people necessarily think about it, put into the context when you don't have a space in place, when you're unhoused and you don't have a space in place that you call home. I touched on this a little bit, some of that housing authority piece. I really think that we're going to be having some serious conversations, at least I know at the state level, reaching out to the Virginia housing authorities just to be a little bit more brilliant about what it is that we are and are not doing. Okay, like straight up. There was an article that, hold on, that's money flying overhead, y'all. That's money. I do want to transition to an event I did the other day, and I really know that a lot of you guys come on and, it's at your leisure, it's at your point, it's at your convenience, okay? Yep, they're out of money. Money ain't no joke over there, over at the housing authority. But I'm gonna transition for a second because I felt like I needed to put this into context. On Sunday, I had the opportunity to work with Freedom Virginia and speak to this event called Parents in the Park. Now, I'll be honest, there weren't a whole bunch of parents there, but there were parents there. And I said, sometimes when you're having an event, if you get one person there, you got enough. You got the right people there. It's definitely difficult sometimes to get people out and doing things. But as I was speaking on Sunday, the goal was to talk about the economic instability that families are going through, and providing, how do we get to a place where we provide families with economic security. And, in talking, I didn't prepare really any marks because it was kind of last minute, but I love working last minute. Like, I should have had some prepared remarks. I just ended up talking about my own lived experiences, not personally, but the connection of my own lived experience over the past 2 years with having a family, and recognizing the changes that are happening across our state, across our communities, right, from the sidewalk to the Capitol, across the way. Here's what I know, and especially when we talk about family, is that for my family, we have this thing called the bill account, right? Every month, my spouse and I, this is just what works for us. We have an account that we each put our fair share of money for all of the bills to come out every single month. And typically by the 22nd of each month, all the bills are paid, and there's always money left over in the account. Typically there's always a couple $100s left over in case the water bill is higher than it is used to, or the phone bill is different, which it should not be. Right? But there's always this extra money in the bill account. And for the past 2 months or so, it may be past 3, and I have to ask my spouse, is that by I want to say by like the 11th of the month, we're looking at the bill account and it needs to be topped up. It needs to be topped up by the 11th. there's still more bills to come out. And we're very fortunate that because it needs to be topped up, because it's not enough in that account to pay for the bills, and we can just go ahead and throw whatever extra needs to be in there, that it takes away from, other things. Now, I believe in joy equity, right? I don't believe that we should shame people for having joy, however they do that. Like, we shouldn't shame a person for buying crab legs with their EBT or ice cream, right? Like, I also believe in joy equity. We don't get to determine what brings people joy or how they use their life to have joy. Joy is not just for the fortunate or the middle class. Like, it's not. So I thought about like all the things that we're now not able to do because we put that couple extra towards, or that we had, not that we're not able, but we have to put off, or we have to make some hard choices, and that's not just my family. People across the country, right, across the Commonwealth, are having to make some hard decisions. And then I think about my role in those decision makings and where we are today. There was a woman in the crowd that began to weep a little bit, just a little bit. Because what I think we're all failing to recognize in all of this, and it sort of was an epiphany for me at the moment, is that we are currently living in a time where for the past 2 years, we have asked families, particularly women, and families no matter what they look like, right? We have asked families, and particularly women, to hold this whole world together. I made the hard decision as a mother to drop some clients and to pour my life into becoming a school for my children. So we asked them to make choices. We provide them with choices. You can, and remember, 40% of households are, 40% of households are, I think single parent, where the woman is the breadwinner. We're asking them for the past 2 years to hold this world together, because we are the service industry. We are the child care providers, typically. We said, you can go to work and find somewhere for your kid to go. Those are the choices. Go to work or stay home with your kid. What you gonna do? Well, I don't want DCFS or CPS calling me, so now I gotta stay home with my kid. If I have the means to do that. And I knew moms that were taking their kids to work with them, right? You gotta make that choice, right? So now I'm not working, not necessarily getting my unemployment on time, or whatever that looks like, and now I gotta make a choice. I got to get back to work. I could pay for childcare, or I could pay for my mortgage or my rent. And then you're forced with other choices, like, I could risk my life, or leave your kids to fend for themselves because we have to get out there. And then I look at the trauma that COVID provided for us as particularly mothers, right? A lot of us are out of the workforce right now, a huge shortage. And then we come to today, where in all of that stress of caring for the children, being present, our educators, many of the educators in this nation are women, right? Figure out how to school these young people. Some school districts did better than others in preparing our educators, again, mostly women, to educate our little citizens. And then we come to today, the trauma of today, where we were making these hard decisions about rent and light bills, children and work. And we have a nation that is saying, have a baby or have a baby. Those are your choices. We're always left with choices, right? Have a baby or have a baby. You just got done holding this world together. And it sucks. There is a deep emotional, psychological, physical pain that a lot of women are going through right now. And that's not every woman, you know. I was fortunate enough to be able to be home and do the things, but I can tell you I was stressed out. Stressed out with just having to get the groceries to feed the kids all day long, right? Because that was a thing, having them at home all day long. Stressed out with, I'm tired. Somebody's got to check their work. Fatigue. I don't necessarily have anybody holding me accountable to make sure that they're going to school. Good morning. I don't necessarily have that accountability buddy to make sure that I'm making sure that their homework is done, that they are fed, that they are, like, some days I just had to have them fend for themselves because I needed a break. And I love my little citizens. But that trauma of COVID, the trauma that we're still going through with COVID, because then when the kids went back to school, they started blaming, shaming parents, particularly mothers. You didn't send your kid to school every day. There's a huge gap. You might, the stress of, okay, now they're about to be pulled back. The stress of, I didn't send my kids to school, or I didn't make them go to school all during COVID. Now, when I go back, am I going to be in trouble? When I send them back, are they going to be in trouble? Also, one of my kids got COVID, which means all of my kids have to stay at home because we went back and precautions weren't where they need to be. And now it's 14 days they got to be home, right? Because that was it, right? If anybody got COVID, that kid had to be home quarantined for 14 days. Whew, stayed home with them. And you are absolutely right, Miss Charlene. That's the problem with the other side. They want to protect those in the room, but deny the service of those that are here. What we have to understand, I wanted to acknowledge you took a fall. You took a fall, and I'm glad that you're getting taken care of, Miss Charlene. What I want us to acknowledge right now is that a corpse has more rights and entitlement to what happens to their own body than women. Think about this. A corpse. Because what they don't do to a corpse, if someone passes and they know that, and I'm trying to think of the woman that I listened to the other day that was talking about this, but here's the deal, and this is the example that she used, is if my kid needed a kidney, right? And I was the only person who was a match for that kidney, to give my kid that kidney, and I decided I do not want to give my son or my daughter my kidney, I'm not going to go to jail for that, because it is assumed that my kidneys are my property and I have autonomy over what I do for my kidneys. Now, in the court of public opinion, might I deal with something? Absolutely. That's fine. But I wouldn't go to jail because I didn't give my kid the life-saving kidney. On top of that, because again, it is assumed that my body provides me, or it belongs to me, and everything inside of it belongs to me, and I have autonomy over it. If I died tomorrow, and I didn't say I wanted to be an organ donor, and there's a person in the next room that is dying and needs a heart, and I did not say that I wanted to give my organs away, they cannot then take my heart to go save a life. Because it's my heart, even though I am dead. Because it is assumed that it is my property. And we look at what's happening right now. for women and healthcare is that essentially, as a matter of factly, that a corpse has more rights than we do over their own body. And that's a problem. And that's a whole problem. Because this goes back to, this is not about, we don't live in a theocracy. We live in a democracy. We are not a country that typically takes away rights. As a matter of fact, we just talked about the restoration of rights, right? Freedoms and liberties, flexibility and freedom. And so as a woman, I say to other women who found themselves in this situation, it is okay sometimes to cry a little about the trauma that we just went through and the trauma that we are going through in a country that does not appreciate our contributions historically or even in present day. It's okay to cry a little. And that's what I got from that woman the other day, is that it freaking hurts. And so what now? What do we do? Right? Where do we go from here? We keep hearing, and I know it's 30, and I want to wrap it up. And I see events talking about parents are going to be supported with IEP. Well, are the parents? Yeah, there's so much. Like, how do we support those parents that now have scholars that are behind? And what do we do from here? Because we don't have the staff or the resources to support these women, to support these parents necessarily through that process, because we're trying to push everybody along, right? While also shaming and criminalizing parents under the guise of saying we're protecting parents' rights. That's nuck and futs. That is the reason why we started the mob, Mamas on the Block, and I'm hoping that we can bring Mamas on the Block back. The mob was just that. Women and mothering women who wanted to show up for each other. Yep, and for women are leaving, the people are leaving the workforce. You got time for that. We're seeing our values. Again, back to the so what, now what? So what, now what? Is that, like I said, one, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to recognize that there's trauma and that we need to do something about it. We are going through a very traumatic series of years. A very traumatic series of years. With our children, harboring that. And some of that is going to be passed on to them. That is the truth. We keep talking about states' rights. We keep talking about that this is where we're going to. Okay. There are 3 women in the General Assembly under the age of 40 with children, or actually with children. 3 with children, 2 with school age. In the House of Delegates, let me just say that. And as a matter of fact, I think that's across the board, because there's no one in the Senate under 40. Do you hear me? There are 3 women in the General Assembly under the age of 40 with children. I think about the demographics of folks that were directly impacted by COVID and are still going through it. And only 2 of those women have school-age children. We're just getting our lives together. We have to show up and show out this year, next year, because the gravity of our vote, right? It's not just voting for the person. It's about the weight of that vote to get things done. Do you understand? When we are not in the majority, when we don't have people that share our values, we can't even get the things heard that we feel like need to be heard to help transform lives. We can't even expand. We can't expand SNAP, right? The food bank said that there are more families right now. There are more families right now using the food bank than there was at the height of the pandemic. It is not representative leadership. If we don't have the people, it's not just the people, but it's the people that are connected to the people. Do you understand? I can't remember where I read it, but I hate to quote it without saying where I read it, is that when we give a woman $1, that dollar ends up multiplying into 4. When we give the community ends up getting $4 back. You get $4 in return. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a game. I'm not on the ballot this year, but I recognize that across this country, I'm looking at the kinds of women that are running, and are they representative? Because it is about the whole, and I need us to consider that. I need us to start looking at this as the whole, right? There's a woman in Ohio that I'm like, I'm gonna give her campaign $5. I'm gonna give her 10 or something. I gotta send her something, because it's about the whole, the work that the whole is going to be able to do. Do you understand? And then when I look right here at home at the work that we're trying to do, because we don't have to do any, we're not running, we don't have to worry about that until next. Well, I'm saying that, I'm speaking it into existence, that maybe we don't have to worry about that until next year. But we have to think about the whole. And I am doing a call-in. I need you to grab at least 2 women and bring them in, because we literally have to mob up. The mamas on the block, you ain't got to be kids to be a mama on the block. We are mothering people in our own ways. We know how to take care of folks. We got to squat up, because it's going to be work that needs to be done across the Commonwealth. Because I'm telling you right now, I've been keeping the stress away from you guys, but I am looking at what the executive branch is doing, the types of appointments they make. They just appointed a guy who was trying to make sure that these Confederate statues are not are erected. I mean, that are not taken down to the Historic Preservation Board. That may not mean anything to you, but when we talk about spaces and places that are worth saving and stories that are worth being told, that person thinks the opposite of what we think. So it goes from the top, it's each branch. We just appointed or elected a judge, Jamila De La Cruz, a young black woman, to be a judge in Norfolk. We need more, and I'm going to ask for more, and I'm going to give more. Okay? So that's where we're at. We've got summer school this week. Find some women that you know need to be participating in the process. Tell them, hey, I need you to go to summer school. It ain't going to take you but 2 hours of your life. And if the kids is there, the kids is there. I had my daughter join us last time. Tell them you got to go to this town hall. You got to start asking questions. When we do them virtually, be there. Tell them about what we're trying to do, because I need help. I'm going to be honest with you. I need y'all. Not I need y'all, we do. In this district and across this Commonwealth, because we're trying to do the things that people want to model, but we need human capital. And I'm telling you right now, I love you dudes, but I'm putting my heart and energy in taking care of women and families, because we are being blatantly disrespected right now. Okay, representation does matter. Representation does matter. Yes, change the COVID requirements. I will tell you right now, for state employees, if they have COVID and no symptoms, they still have to go to work. Do you hear me? That's per the executive branch's orders, is that even if you don't have symptoms but you have COVID, take your butt to work. Hear me? Yep. And fighting back, Vince, looks so different nowadays, which is why we've got to, what did Killer Mike tell us? We gotta organize, strategize, and mobilize. I know I'm missing some, but it's all of that and in between. So this is a call-in. I need you to invite people into what we're doing, because what we're doing, not only are we trying to shift the climate here in our own backyard, we're trying to shift the climate across Commonwealth, and I need women and families. That's who I'm down for right now. That's who I'm trying to take care of. And veterans. And veterans. That's it. It's about the vote, and it's about beyond that. It's about what comes before that vote. Because remember, again, it hurts me to say this, but a corpse has more rights to their body than I do. And that's the fact. All right, we took long enough, 10 minutes over. I love, value, and appreciate you all. I hope to see you sometime this week. All of the different happenings, go ahead and check out those news sources. If you weren't here earlier, we talked about 3 other news sources that you can use to stay abreast of what's going on in the community. If you didn't see them, they're in the chat, or scroll up. And you guys make it a great Tuesday, okay? Be well. I appreciate you. Thank you for showing up today. We got this.